Shocking moment, billionaire watches waitress fix his watch overnight, her life changes forever. The chandelier glimmered, sprinkling light over the polished marble floor of the Grand Oak, the most luxurious restaurant in the city. There, amidst the clinking of glasses and soft laughter, a waitress named Mia found herself in the eye of an unexpected storm. A billionaire, Eli Thompson, renowned for his ruthless business acumen and a gaze that could freeze the sun, sat alone at a corner table, nursing a drink that looked far too good to be true. Tonight wasn't just ordinary. It was electric, alive with the whispers of fate, and Mia was about to step into the spotlight. Her hands trembled as she approached him, the weight of her worn-out sneakers digging into the plush carpet. Eli's watch, a sleek piece of machinery glinting with diamonds, lay abandoned on the table. Desperate curiosity wrapped around her. Gold filigree danced on the edges. Was that really just a watch? It felt more like a portal to another world. "Can you fix it?" he grunted, his voice deep and smooth, sending vibrations down her spine that echoed long after he spoke. "I have to be somewhere important." As she took the watch, a strange chill rolled in from somewhere unseen. The ticking inside sounded wrong. Heavy. Like it was alive or possessed. Mia felt an inexplicable connection as she held it, each tick reverberating through her chest. She glanced around. The room felt like it was holding its breath. Heads turned. Eyes blinked. Several diners exchanged glances, murmuring under their breath. "What is she doing? Doesn't she know who he is?" Time ticked on. The moment felt stretched, like a rubber band about to snap. Mia could feel the weight of destiny in her small, capable hands. And then, in a flash, Eli leaned closer, his breath carrying the scent of ambition. "Make it quick. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." Her heart pounded audibly as she set to work. At first, the watch wouldn't budge, reluctant to reveal its secrets. Beads of sweat formed on her forehead, not from the heat of the bustling restaurant but from the enormity of the task. The room felt charged, as if a swarm of bees were buzzing just beneath their dinner jackets and silk blouses. Suddenly, the watch flickered to life in her hands, a surge of energy that sent a jolt through her arms. Eli's eyes widened. Was he frightened? It was hard to tell under that mask of confidence. Mia's breath caught. How could an ordinary waitress have just elicited such a response from one of the richest men in the world? An unease spread through the air, thicker than the restaurant's rich truffle butter sauce. The onlookers leaned in, some with cocktails paused halfway to their lips. The palpable tension crackled, igniting the room into an uproar. What did she do? How can she fix that watch? The whispers whipped around her like a whirlwind. Just as quickly as it had begun, silence fell. Eli stared, a wall of intensity, and in that heartbeat, Mia's world teetered on the brink of unbelievable change. What did she just unleash? What awaited her beyond this moment? She felt the weight of the watch pulling at her very being, binding her fate to the billionaire's. The question loomed large. Would this night be the first chapter of her rags to riches tale, or the beginning of something dark and twisted? Mia could hardly breathe as she concentrated on the watch, her fingers moving almost of their own accord. The glowing face suddenly filled with vibrant numbers, casting an otherworldly light that danced across her trembling hands. Eli's eyes widened further, a mixture of awe and something darker flickering in their depths. "What did you do?" he breathed, the intensity behind his words electric. A cold shiver surged down her spine. The restaurant around them transformed into a whirlwind of noise and chaos. Camaraderie turned into frantic questioning. "Is it broken? Who is she? Mia felt like a deer caught in headlights, surrounded by flashing cameras and an audience that was hungry for spectacle. I just fixed it," she stammered, unable to shake off the surreal feeling of being in the epicenter of this storm. Eli reached out, his fingers brushing against hers, sending a wave of heat through her skin. The connection was immediate and raw, like an unseen current that jolted her mind. "No, this isn't just fixing. You've released something beyond mere mechanics." The murmurs morphed into gasps as the watch's hands began to spin erratically, out of control. The diamond-studded piece vibrated in her grip, sounding like a heart drumming in a mixture of panic and exhilaration. She felt lightheaded, overwhelmed by the sensations racing through her. Her fingers tightened around the watch as if it were a lifeline. "What's happening?" she exclaimed, uncontainable dread washing over her. Eli leaned closer, his forehead almost touching hers, a flicker of concern crossing his face that gave way to something darker. "You need to put it back. You can't let it." Before he finished, the shimmering watch crackled, sending a shock through the air that felt like thunder, reverberating through her body. She stumbled back, the world tilting around her. The atmosphere thickened, turning suffocating as if they were trapped within a glass box. Suddenly, a shadow loomed above, breaking through the gathered crowd. A figure emerged, cloaked in darkness, eyes glinting like shards of broken glass. "What have you done?" The voice dripped with malice, twisting the very essence of the moment into something sinister. Mia's heart raced. Was this a threat? Whatever this was, it loomed larger than life, smothering the last remnants of normalcy. Eli stiffened at her side, a feral protectiveness blazing in his expression as he instinctively moved in front of her. "Stay close," he whispered, urgency resonating like the tick-tick-tick of the recovered watch in her hands. Tension crackled as the shadow moved closer, the crowd parting like the sea, each person wide-eyed, frozen in stunned silence. "You've awakened something powerful," the figure warned, a smile creeping across their lips that sent a chill clawing down Mia's spine. "And now, you must face the consequences." Mia's world narrowed to the figure's piercing gaze, heart hammering. What consequences? What had she unearthed with Eli's watch? The question spun like a cyclone in her mind. With a sudden spark, time slowed. She could feel the eyes of the entire restaurant on her, their curiosity a weight pressing down. The clock ticked on, but something felt irreversibly changed. And then, it happened. A flash of light erupted from the watch, and the room quivered on the brink of upheaval. "What's next?" Eli shouted, the sound swallowed by the chaos. As the light enveloped them, engulfing everything in a blinding brilliance, Mia wondered, was this the beginning of her fortune? Or was she hurtling toward her doom? Just then, as everything went white, a question crossed her mind: what price would she have to pay for transforming her fate? Mia's world burst into brilliance, a wild kaleidoscope of colors swirling around her. Each hue tugged at her, teasing her senses into an absurd dance of joy and fright. She felt weightless, suspended between two dimensions, one grounded in reality and the other spiraling into something bizarre and unfamiliar. Suddenly, the light collapsed in on itself, sharp as shattered glass, sending her spiraling backward. She landed hard on the restaurant floor, the cold tiles biting into her skin. Instantly, the warmth of Eli's presence enveloped her, grounding her amidst the chaos. "Get up, Mia," he urged, his voice breaking through her daze. She blinked up at him, seeing panic etched in his features, and a protective fire ignited in her chest. Before she could respond, she heard the figure's low, mocking laughter, slicing through the electric tension that had gripped the room. Such naive bravery, it sneered, taking another step forward, shadow swallowing it whole, leaving only its piercing eyes visible. "You really think you can control what you've awakened?" The crowd was still, eyes glued onto the scene, a collective breath held in anticipation of the next move. Mia struggled to her feet, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "What do you want?" She wasn't sure if she was directing the question at the shadowy figure or at the watch that still thrummed in her pocket, a familiar pulse now strangely alien. "The power you unleashed must be contained," the figure said, words dripping with disdain. You meddled with forces you cannot grasp. Allow me to guide you, or suffer the consequences. Mia's gut twisted. Guide her? The thought made her shudder. What kind of guidance was this dark figure willing to offer? She clutched Eli's arm, his steady heartbeat anchoring her. We can't listen to this thing, she whispered, her breath shaky. Eli nodded, eyes locked on the overwhelming shadow. We need to get out of here. We're not letting you dictate our fate. He took a half-step forward, hands clenched, ready for whatever might come next. Ah, brave yet foolish. The figure waved a hand, and the air thickened, crackling with an unnatural energy that sent a chill creeping down Mia's spine. Know that the ranks of the powerful will not take kindly to your interference. They will come for you, and worse, they will come for those you love. Mia's heart sank. Fear twisted in her chest like a vice. What do you mean? Who will come for us? A slow, malevolent smile grew on the figure's face, revealing teeth too sharp, too predatory. That is for you to discover. Any lingering life you hold dear will become a pawn in this dark game. Time seemed to stretch, the air thick like a fog settling over the crowd. Mia could see the horror in their eyes, their faces pale, reflecting her own dread. The reality of what she had awakened, the watch's unpredictable power, cut through her like a knife. Then, with one swift motion, the cloaked figure turned, merging back into the shadows, leaving a cloud of dread in its wake. The restaurant erupted into chaos, the crowd scattering, chairs clattering, and screams slicing through the overwhelming sound of panic. Mia! We have to move! Eli shouted, yanking her hand. But as they rushed towards the exit, Mia's mind raced. What have I done? She breathed. Had she opened a door to a nightmare? What in the world had she triggered? The unknown consequences pulsed at the back of her mind, like an echo refusing to fade. Stay close! Eli cried, pulling her behind him, as the tension in the air thickened once more. They reached the door, but a heavy silence fell, pulling them to a standstill. The watch in her pocket throbbed, a reminder of their precarious situation. Mia's heart thudded against her ribcage. We can't let them find us, Eli. Whoever they are, they won't stop. Eli met her gaze, determination in his eyes, but the unanswered questions hung heavy between them. Just as they stepped outside into the night air, a piercing scream echoed behind them. A chilling reminder that the game had truly just begun, and deep down, Mia felt it, her fate was now intertwined with those dark forces. What had she unleashed? The answer loomed closer than she wished. The cold night air bit at Mia's skin as they burst through the door, hearts pounding in synchrony. The restaurant's chaos faded into unnerving stillness outside, but the weight of dread clung to her like a shadow. Eli halted, pulling her behind an old street lamp, its flickering light casting eerie shapes on the ground. Mia, we need to plan. That thing, it knows us, Eli said, his brow furrowed, eyes darting to the darkened corners of the street. Panic surged inside her. What are we going to do? We can't just wait for whoever or whatever comes after us. His grip tightened, a comforting squeeze, but their surroundings seemed more menacing now. The street was empty, which only accentuated the sense of impending doom. The sound of their footsteps echoed too loudly, too fearfully. Let us find a place to hide out, regroup, figure this out. We need answers, Eli suggested, scanning the silent street as if hoping someone would materialize with solutions. Mia nodded, fear and determination battling inside her. As they moved, she kept her hand pressed against the watch in her pocket. It pulsed again, a deep thrum that resonated not just in her fingers but in her bones. What does it want from me? She whispered, mostly to herself. Focus, Mia. Remember what that figure said: you meddled with forces you cannot grasp. There's a reason we're being targeted, Eli said, his voice steady despite the tremors still coursing through him. Maybe it's not the watch. Maybe it's me, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. The darkness felt alive, pressing in around them as if it was answering her. She caught sight of something uneasy in the shadows, a flicker of movement, maybe just a trick of the light. Eli pulled her against a neighboring building, its brick surface cold and rough against her back. You can't think like that. Together, we can face whatever's coming. We just need to stay one step ahead. The streetlights buzzed like angry bees, and Mia could hear distant sirens wailing far away, adding to the sense of urgency. Where do we go? Who do we trust? The uncertainty gnawed at her stomach. Before Eli could answer, a chilling gust of wind swept through the alley, carrying a whisper that slipped between them like water. You can't hide, Mia, it hissed, echoing the figure's earlier mockery. They will find you, they already know. Mia's chest tightened, her breath hitching in terror. Did you hear that? She leaned closer to Eli, the warmth of his body a fragile shield against her mounting fear. That he nodded, his earlier confidence waning. Let us move. Now. They speed-walked down the alley, keeping an eye out for any sign of life, a glimmer of hope amidst the threat. But as they turned the corner, the sudden flicker of lights down the street caught Mia's attention. It was a shop, the neon sign glowing defiantly in the dark. What's that? Looks like an old pawn shop. We might find something that can help, Eli replied, striding forward. They approached cautiously, wary but drawn in by the allure of possibility. Inside, the air was stale, filled with the scent of old wood and dust. Shelves lined with forgotten treasures and discarded memories loomed around them. The light inside pulsated in its own rhythm, disorienting but strangely inviting. Mia. Eli's voice cut through her haze. Look over there. She followed his gaze. At the back of the shop stood a figure, draped in shadows, attentively watching them. Mia's heart raced as the figure stepped closer, revealing a familiar face, but this wasn't someone she could trust. They had to run, but as the figure smiled, a chilling recognition flickered within Mia. You. This was all spiraling out too fast, too fierce. The sense of danger amplified. Who was this stranger, and how did they know her? Did they, too, hold answers to her surreal awakening? Before she could fully process, the figure's smile widened, revealing something sinister in their eyes. Welcome, it seems you have quite the adventure ahead of you, Mia. Mia gripped Eli's arm tighter, every instinct screaming that they should leave, but curiosity fought against the instinct to flee. A moment of stillness fell, the tension straining in the room. What had they stumbled into, and would it lead to salvation or doom? As the figure stepped closer, the world around Mia began to tilt, and she realized she had only scratched the surface of the storm she had awakened. What new horrors awaited them inside and outside this pawn shop? Was discovering the truth ever worth the price they would pay? Mia's heart thudded in her chest, battling against the shadows that seemed to close in around her as the familiar face emerged from the gloom. It was Jenna, her former best friend, who had vanished without a trace months ago after the watch incident had begun to spiral out of control. Jenna. Mia's voice trembled. What are you doing here? Jenna's smile was no longer warm but stretched unnaturally wide, like a predator revealing its teeth. Oh, Mia, you've been busy, meddling with things beyond your understanding. But I've been watching you watch. It's so much more than you know. Eli stepped forward, instinctively placing himself between Mia and Jenna. What do you want from us? You're still in the dark, Eli, Jenna said, her tone sing-songy, like she was recounting a bedtime story. This isn't just a watch. It's a key to everything. Mia felt a churning in her stomach and clenched her fists. You can't be serious. You've been gone. You can't know what you're talking about. Jenna laughed softly, her eyes glinting with something feral. Oh, but I do. I've seen what lies beyond. The shadows are alive, Mia. They're waiting for you, too. Eli shifted on his feet, eyes narrowing. We don't have time for games. We need answers. What do you mean they're waiting for her? Jenna stepped closer, the glowing neon light behind her casting an unsettling halo. There are those who wish to control the darkness. And right now, they're hunting you down. That watch has drawn their attention. It knows you're one of us. You've awakened something that should have remained asleep. Mia's breath hitched. One of us? Yes. The chosen, Jenna replied, her voice dropping to a whisper. You're part of a legacy, Mia. The watch, it connects you to others like us, those who have danced with shadows and lived to tell the tale. Eli turned to Mia, fear etched in his features. Is that why we were attacked? Because of the watch? Oh, you poor things, Jenna replied, a hint of mockery in her words. You're in over your heads, but there's still a chance to escape. You must destroy it before it's too late. Mia's heart sank. Destroy the watch? Are you insane? Listen to me. Jenna's tone shifted, an urgent plea hidden beneath the guise of menace. It's not as simple as keeping it away from them. You don't even understand its power, its history. If you keep it, they'll find you. They'll use you. Either you destroy it or you die. Her words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Mia felt a surge of conflicting emotions, a mixture of fear, loyalty, and the deep ache of confusion over her friend's betrayal. Where have you been, Jenna? Mia asked, desperate for some fragment of the life they once shared. Like I said, I've been watching. Learning. I had to protect myself, find the truth, but I've also taken risks, Jenna said, looking away for a split second. It wasn't easy in the dark. Anyone who got close to me, well, let's just say, this journey isn't meant for the weak. Eli's resolve hardened. We're not weak. But we won't be pawns in anyone's game. Jenna chuckled softly, a dark amusement dancing in her eyes. Then let us see how far you're willing to go. To keep Mia safe, or to uncover secrets that may just shatter her. Mia felt the ground beneath her tremble. Was that a warning, or the stirring of dark forces? Stay back. Eli shouted, pulling Mia closer. The air buzzed with tension, and Mia felt the watch pulse again, an erratic beat that synced with her racing heart. Your time is running out, Mia, Jenna said, her smile a blade concealed in silk. Call on the shadows or they will call on you. As she vanished further into the shop's depths, the atmosphere thickened, crawling under Mia's skin. Mia, we can't let her get away, Eli whispered urgently. We need to go now. But as they edged towards the door, the atmosphere shifted. A low growl echoed from the shadows behind them. It was almost like a promise of something worse, lurking just out of sight. Eli, what if we can reach her? What if she knows something we need? Mia's voice was a fragile thread holding her wavering. Determination. He looked deep into her eyes, desperation flaring like a beacon. What if it's a trap? We don't have time for doubts. Whatever she knows, it's not worth our lives. Something creaked in the darkness, a reminder of their fleeting safety. Let us go. Eli urged, and they dashed to the door, but it slammed shut just as they reached for the handle. Fingers trembling, Mia glanced back at the shop's interior. Deep shadows shifted, shapes writhed as if alive. What just happened? Eli's voice was a mix of fear and disbelief. Jenna, she breathed, a realization taking root. She could feel it, the watch pulsing wildly, urging her to make a choice. Would she trust in what Jenna had told her, or risk everything to uncover the truth? And outside, in the night's lingering silence, was danger just waiting for them to slip into its clutches? Whatever happens, we have to move fast, Eli urged, his eyes darting. Or we might just become her next chapter. What horrors lay ahead for them both, hiding in the shadows, waiting for the moment to strike? Would they break free from the pawn shop, or would they unearth a truth meant to remain buried? Mia's breath caught as the door slammed shut behind them, echoing through the shop like the toll of a death knell. She could feel the weight of darkness pressing in, thick and suffocating. Shadows danced, swirling like phantoms in the corners of her mind, every flicker sending adrenaline coursing through her veins. What do we do now? Eli whispered, his voice trembling with uncertainty. Mia turned to him, her heart racing. We can't let Jenna get away. She knows too much. But she also feels different. Like something's wrong. Eli finished for her, shifting his weight as something shifted behind them. Yeah, I feel it too. The air is charged like there's something watching us. Just beyond the glass, the streetlights flickered, sending eerie shadows creeping across the floor. The hair on Mia's arms stood on end, a primal instinct telling her to flee. But deep down, the watch felt like an anchor, drawing her in, tempting her to unravel its secrets. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, and a loud crash echoed, sending both of them stumbling back. Something large and menacing had fallen in the back of the shop, and the sound was followed by a guttural growl that rumbled through the air like a thunderstorm approaching. Mia, we need to run. Eli urged, panic written all over his face. I can't. The words tore from her lips as the watch pulsed against her skin, a fervent reminder of its presence. It keeps calling me, I can feel it. Eli's brow furrowed as he looked from the door to her, his voice dipping low. You can't be serious. Whatever that thing is, we don't have the luxury of feeling enchanted by it. But something deep within Mia felt a strange connection with Jenna's words. There was a pull, a magnetic force drawing her closer to the chaos. I just need to understand it, Eli. What if it holds the key to everything? To stopping whatever is coming? Or putting yourself right into the lioness den? He shot back, glancing toward the darkness that seemed to creep closer, like a predator watching its prey. The growl escalated, morphing into a low snarl that vibrated through the very air around them. Shadows coalesced at the edges of the room, forming vague shapes that began to close the distance. Mia, focus. We need to get that watch out of here safely, Eli urged again, gripping her arm hard, a lifeline in the mounting dread. It's what they want. It's what Jenna warned us about. Heart pounding, Mia turned her eyes back to the front door. It stood firm, a barrier against whatever was lurking closer. You're right, but what if there's a way to get to her? What if the key she claims it holds can stop this? The tension ratcheted up in the air as a figure slunk from the shadows, prowling like a cat. It was larger than either of them had anticipated, its features hidden in layers of darkness and dread but clearly watching them with intent. Oh my God, Eli gasped, eyes wide. What is that? Mia's voice trembled as she spoke. It's a shadow. Just like Jenna said. But it's real, and it's hungry. With a jolt, she felt her pulse sync with the watch, a steady rhythm commanding her attention. Whatever this shadow was, it knew they were there. It was hungry for more than just fear, it was a hunger for power. Stay close, Eli, she whispered, turning back to the monstrous form, courage stirring within her. We need to confront it. We can't let it take us. But just as the shadow lunged, a piercing light burst forth from the watch, illuminating the entire room. Do you dare challenge the darkness? It seemed to shout, the sound ricocheting off walls slick with shadows. Mia felt her heart surge, a shadow wrestling within her own mind. Let us find out. With a roar that matched the growl of the entity, she grasped the watch tighter, steeling herself for whatever came next. Would the watch empower her or consume her? Would she become the darkness Jenna feared, or could she bring light to it all? As the ancient shadows lunged forward, the choice hung delicately in the balance, teetering on the edge of destiny. Mia braced herself as the watch blazed with light, illuminating the dark corners of the shop. The shadow hesitated, caught in the glow like a moth before a flame. What had felt so menacing only moments ago now quivered in uncertainty. Keep it up. Eli shouted, excitement breaking through his fear. It's reacting to the light. But Mia felt the weight of the moment shift. The shadows surrounding them pulsed, almost vibrating against the energy. It was as if they were alive, whispering secrets just out of reach. Eli, I don't know, it's not over yet. With newfound determination, Mia stepped forward. I can feel it. The watch, it wants to talk. What? Eli's voice cracked, a mix of dread and disbelief. Talk. With that? I have to try, she insisted. Her breath hitched as she concentrated, willing the light from the watch to envelop her, to fortify her spirit. She felt a warmth swirling around her, igniting every part of her being. The shadow shifted again, its form twitching, melding into more defined shapes, faces drawn tight with rage. You dare challenge the night? A voice echoed, dark and foreboding, reverberating within the walls. Yes. Mia found herself shouting back, emboldened by her conviction. We want truth. We want to know what you are. The shadow paused, as if weighing her words. Truth comes at a cost, child, it rumbled, the air thickening, pulling against Mia as if trying to allure her back into darkness. Are you willing to pay? Stop. Eli shouted, stepping forward as though he could cut through the tension with sheer will. We didn't come here for a deal. We want Jenna. Mia felt the pulse of the watch intensify in her hand, urging her to focus on her own desires. Jenna is part of this. We need her help. And then, from the crest of darkness loomed Jenna's figure, shadowy yet somehow familiar. She looked both regal and threatening, the weight of choice heavy in her gaze. You shouldn't be here, she cautioned, her voice a soothing balm to the fears assaulting Mia. What happened? Mia's voice was nearly a whisper, entranced by the figure before her. You're different, you've changed. Listen carefully, Jenna said, as the shadows recoiled slightly, revealing more of her countenance. The watch you hold is not just an object. It has the potential to reveal the truth, to expose the shadows. Eli pressed closer, gripping Mia's shoulder, his breath warm against her. What does it want from us? Jenna's eyes flickered toward them, a hint of sorrow etched into her features. Control. The shadows feast on fear. They crave your doubts, your insecurities. But the watch has the power to drive them away, it can forge a path through darkness. Mia felt the adrenaline spike, a sweet rush that danced along her spine. This was it. This was why she had felt drawn to the watch in the first place. Yet with each word, a chilling realization settled in. What do we have to do? What's the catch? Only you can choose to wield its power, Jenna replied softly. But be warned, every light casts a shadow. What you reveal may be more than you bargained for. As the last syllable hung between them, the shadows tightened, a cacophony of growls and hisses filling the air. The oppressive weight returned, suffocating, pressing against her resolve. Mia's heart raced as she looked at Eli's terrified face. She needed a plan. If I use the watch, what will I face? The truth can free you. Jenna began, but the shadows erupted, shrieking as they lunged for Mia. Back! She yelled, thrusting the watch forward, and its light pulsed brilliantly. For a moment, the shadows hesitated, caught in the fierce glow. And then deeper shadows unfurled, twisting and contorting, revealing sinister shapes that loomed larger than life. Embrace your darkness. They roared, voices overlapping, as the ground shook beneath them. Mia stood firm, the weight of destiny pressing hard upon her. The choice laid bare, her answer would shape everything. Let us see whose light is stronger. She shouted, pointing the watch towards the undulating mass. As the light sliced through the darkness, illuminating the twisted forms, Mia realized one fundamental truth: nothing could be the same again. But at what cost would her light come? The shadows continued to screech as the battle began, urging her to discover the depths of her own resolve. She was on the verge of something monumental. Little did she know, the deeper she plunged into the struggle, the more chilling secrets awaited. What had she truly unleashed? Light burst forth from the watch, creating a shimmering barrier between Mia and the menacing shadows. The oppressive air, thick with anxiety and dread, shifted as chaos erupted. The screeches intensified, a cacophony of tortured voices clamoring for dominance, their twisted shapes writhing, hungry for darkness. Mia's heart pounded like a drum, each beat echoing the gravity of the moment. She squeezed the watch tighter, its warmth coursing through her fingers a lifeline in this storm of fear. Eli's grip on her shoulder was a tether, reminding her she wasn't alone in the fight. "Keep it steady, Mia," he gasped, his eyes wide with terror yet filled with an unwavering determination. "We can do this. Together." Mia shouted, fear and resolve mingling in her voice. The shadows recoiled, their wicked features contorting. They didn't like the light. They didn't like her resolve. As the light brightened, it illuminated a horrifying sight. Faces melted in anguish, memories of despair etched across their features, solidifying into forms of those who once lived, now tethered to this twisted realm. Wraiths of sorrow beckoned, their hollow eyes searching for freedom. "You think you can dispel us?" A deep voice growled, emanating from the void. The shadow lunged, thick tendrils crashing toward them like a wave. Mia recoiled instinctively, but Eli didn't waver. "You have to believe in the watch," he shouted. "Believe it can save us." His words ignited a spark within her. Options flooded her mind. She focused on Jenna, finding strength in her presence. "I trust you, Jenna. Help us." The shadow of Jenna flickered, momentarily radiant. "Wield the truth, Mia," she implored, her voice barely piercing through the cacophony. With renewed vigor, Mia raised the watch higher, channeling her will, summoning every ounce of fear and uncertainty within herself. The shadows twisted, striking at her vulnerability, their whispers curling around her. "You've lost before you even started," they hissed, venom lacing their words. But they didn't know her. No one knew what she had endured, the walls built around her heart. "I will not let you take control anymore," she cried, her voice breaking through the din. The watch exploded with blinding light, a surge of energy erupting from within her. She saw flashes of her life, moments of despair, bitterness, each shadow revealing secrets she had long buried deep. The pain was excruciating, but with every revelation, a piece of her strength grew. Suddenly, the light sparked brightly again, flooding the room. The shadows screeched, their horrifying forms evaporating under the brilliance. The memory faces became more transparent, their anguished cries rippling through the air. "Make it stop!" One shrieked, realization dawning upon them as they began to vanish. "We are bound to you. No more. You are free!" Mia shouted fiercely, pushing the watch forward. The connection was severed as the shadows unraveled, screams echoing into nothingness, and just like that, silence enveloped them. Gasping, Mia lowered the watch, breathless, adrenaline crashing like a wave. The room felt different now, lighter, almost freeing. But a shadow of uncertainty lingered. Did we win? Eli's voice quavered, the raw edge of panic still clinging to him. "I think we did," Mia whispered, her gaze drifting to Jenna. But as she looked, Jenna's figure began to fade, slipping back into the darkness. "Wait. You can't go. I have fulfilled my role," Jenna's voice faded, leaving urgency in the air. "But the shadows will always linger." This is just the beginning. Echoes of her warning pulsed in the room, resonating deep within Mia. The implications settled heavily on her shoulders, realization dawned on her. "What do you mean?" Mia shouted, confusion blending with dread. Before she could grasp the answer, a new figure emerged, clothed in darkness, eyes like burning coals. "You've opened the door, Mia," it hissed, a sly grin dancing across its stark features. "Now, let us see how far you're willing to go." The shadows swirled around the newcomer, thickening the air. Mia felt her pulse quicken, a chilling mix of fear and intrigue. Had she truly stepped into a battle beyond her wildest imagination? What awaited her next? Would she discover the depths of her own power, or would she be engulfed by the shadows she thought she had defeated? A new chapter lay before her, unfolding into darkness, and she was not sure she could withstand the temptation. Mia's heart raced as the figure stepped forward, something deep within her recognizing the threat coiling around its aura. The air felt electric, charged with an energy that was both terrifying and intoxicating. Shadows danced like flames around them, licking at the edges of her newfound light. Eli moved closer, instinctively shielding Mia. "What do you want?" he demanded, his voice steady despite the flutter of fear in the pit of Mia's stomach. The shadowy figure tilted its head, a cruel smirk spreading across its face. "What I want, dear boy, is to see how much light you can conjure before it fades to darkness." It spoke with a silky voice that wrapped around them like a fog, its intent unclear. Mia felt a chill creep down her spine. "You're not taking anything from us," she shouted, desperation fueling her defiance. "Ah, sweet girl," the shadows, weaving a captivating tapestry of darkness. "You misunderstand. I'm here to offer you something thrilling. New powers to explore. The darkness knows the truth, light is beautiful but fleeting. Are you ready to embrace what lies beneath?" Mia shook her head, her thoughts spiraling. What kind of power could exist in shadows? Hadn't she just fought to be free from them? But the temptation clawed at her. "What would I have to do?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper, caught somewhere between dread and curiosity. "Everything comes at a price," it said, stepping closer, the tendrils of shadow tightening their grip. "Face your fears, confront what you truly desire, and you might just find the answers." Fear warred with her curiosity. Jenna's warning echoed in her mind, shadows would always linger. Did that mean there was more she needed to understand? "I don't want to be consumed by the darkness," she replied, voice trembling. "Then you'll have to be clever." The figure stepped back, dissolving into the shadowed corners of the room, only the ember-like eyes remaining locked with hers. "But remember, Mia, choices shape destiny. Choose wisely." With that, the shadows coiled around the figure, swallowing it whole until nothing remained but silence, stretching out like a taut string ready to snap. "What just happened?" Eli asked, breathless, scanning the room as if the darkness would come leaping back at any moment. Mia felt the weight of the figure's words wrapping around her like a cold blanket. "I don't know. But it wanted something from me. Something I'm not sure I can give." "Then don't," Eli urged, his gaze unwavering, filled with concern and determination. "We won against those shadows before together. We can do it again." Mia nodded, but uncertainty gnawed at her. The shadow's power danced at the fringes of her consciousness. A flicker of doubt whispered that she could harness it without letting it consume her. But what if she failed? A sudden pull within the watch tugged at her awareness. It felt alive in her hand, pulsing as if responding to her turmoil. The memories it held flickered in and out like glittering stars in a night sky, each holding a fragment of herself, her fears, her aspirations, her past. "Mia, look out!" Eli shouted, and she snapped back to reality just in time to see new forms of shadows creeping back, bulky and grotesque. Panic surged within her as the hissing shadows lunged forward, a wave of dread crashing over them. "I can't let them take me again," she screamed, instinctively raising the watch. "What do you want from me?" The void answered only with a haunting howl, a cacophony of anguish that pulled at her very core, chills racing down her spine when an overwhelming force pushed against her, seeking to pull her into the depths. "Stay strong," Eli shouted desperately, with a surge of defiance. Mia focused every ounce of strength she had. The watch glimmered as if synchronized with her heartbeat. The air thickened, and she realized this was her moment, her choice. Would she use the light to push back again, or dare to venture into the darkness that whispered sweet promises? As the shadows descended, clinging to her like ink staining a page, Mia felt the weight of the decision hanging heavily. In the air. The watch pulsed again, and she was torn, caught between the light of truth and the seductive call of the shadow. Would she find the strength to confront her darkest fears, or let them drag her down into the abyss? "Everything depends on you now," the shadows murmured, wrapping around her heart with a sickening grip. Was she ready? The choice loomed, and Mia knew the next moment would change everything. Mia stood firm, heart pounding as shadows encircled her, throbbing like a living entity. Eli hovered close, his protective energy providing a fragile barrier against the encroaching darkness. "Mia," he urged, a tremor lacing his voice. "You can't let them in." Gathering every ounce of determination, Mia raised the watch, its golden sheen glowing brighter, illuminating the swirling darkness around them. "This ends now," she shouted, her voice raw with defiance. An electric pulse erupted through her, the open power of the watch surging through her body, drumming like a heartbeat she could nearly see. "Fear is your enemy." Eli's words cut through the clamor of shadows whispering uncertainties and doubts. "Use the light. Believe in it." The terrified screams of past souls echoed, their faces flashing before her, momentarily suspending her in time. "I see you. I want to let you control me," Mia shouted, focusing on the light radiating from the watch, willing it to push back the shadow's cold grip. A blistering glow burst forth, illuminating her surroundings like the dawn breaking after a long night. The shadows recoiled, their forms scattering, shrieks filling the air as they struggled against the purity of light. Unfurling tendrils twisted in agony, the faces of those once trapped faded into the light before evaporating like mist beneath the sun. "No. We are bound to you." They howled, desperation thickening their voices. Mia thrust the watch forward, channeling her power into a radiant beam. "You are not my master. You have no hold on me." With each word, the shadows shimmered, turning to vapor as the overwhelming light chased them back. Eli's support bolstered her spirit, and she felt the steady rhythm of his calm presence, grounding her, reminding her of the truth they shared. Suddenly, a familiar silhouette emerged amidst the fading darkness. It was Jenna. Her expression was marked with both sorrow and pride. "You truly are one of us, Mia. But remember, you will always need to choose," she said softly, her tone laced with a bitter knowledge. "What do you mean?" Mia gasped, her heart racing at the thought of her friend's return. "You were right. There is still so much we don't understand. Embrace this light, but recognize the shadows," Jenna replied, the weight of her words hanging in the air. "Only then will you master your fate. Do not forget, fear is a tool. Use it wisely." In that moment, everything clicked into place. Mia faced the remnants of darkness swirling, feeling the weight of each choice laid out before her. "This is my power. I can use both the light and the dark," she shouted, a newfound resolve surging through her veins like wildfire. Her energy pulsed, echoing her declaration, causing the remaining shadows to tremble. "I will master this. I will not run from what I am." With that proclamation, the watch flared brilliantly, sending forth a wave of light that consumed the shadowed remnants fully, banishing them back into the void whence they came. A rush of energy enveloped her, harnessing the essence of both light and darkness, igniting her spirit with undeniable force. The silence that followed was almost deafening, an eerie calm settling over the pawn shop as the last flickers of dark dissipated into nothingness. Mia leaned against Eli, gasping for breath, adrenaline coursing through her. We did it?" he asked, wide-eyed as he looked at the watch in her hand, still aglow with potential. She nodded, a smile breaking over her face, tears of relief filling her eyes. "We did." But the contentment was fleeting as a familiar voice echoed softly from the depths. "You have won this battle, Mia. But remember, darkness is patient. It waits always." Mia shivered, the reminder lurking in her mind. "I know," she whispered, meeting Eli's gaze with determination. "But now, I can control it. I can control my destiny." With Jenna's lingering words wrapping around her like a cloak, Mia felt the weight of new beginnings. They would face the shadows together, and she had the strength to harness both the light and dark. They were not just survivors, they were warriors ready to reclaim their story. As they stepped into the night, the city buzzing with life, Mia clutched the watch close, aware that it held untold stories yet to be discovered. "Ready?" Eli asked, every bit of hope reflected in his eyes. "For whatever comes next," she replied, confidence surging through her. They were not just at the beginning of a journey, they were on the verge of something monumental. So long as they stood united, they could transform their fears into strength. Minutes turned into hours as they walked, but in the distance, shadows began to swirl again. This time, instead of fear, Mia felt a spark of excitement radiate from within. A new chapter awaited them, not one of dread, but one of discovery. Together they would ignite a legacy, her legacy, and she was finally ready to embrace it all. The world around them felt alive. The watch pulsed against her heart, not just as a tie to her past, but an invitation to her future. Now it was time for her fate to unfold. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next exclusive chapters of this unfolding journey. Smash that like button now to fuel the algorithm. Your support is crucial. Flood the comments with your reactions and predictions. How do you think Mia will confront the darkness ahead? And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this journey with you. This is the moment to show your enthusiasm for our storytelling. Let us keep this adventure alive together.